KZ Guy 2 here, No Nonsense Know-How. Today working on a 2006 Chrysler 300 and it's stuck in park. Real common problem. We're going to go over some of the causes of this and show you what the problem is with this one. The first things you're going to check, when you press your brake pedal, are the brake lights coming on? Because if the brake switch is bad down here, then you know that could be the first potential reason. Not very common. The second thing is going to be, even with the key off it should do this, but let's just turn the key on for now. Key on. When you press the brake, do you hear a clicking noise down here? Just like that. If you don't hear that clicking noise, then more than likely the solenoid inside of this shifter assembly is bad. You can get a whole shifter assembly on Amazon for about $100 some, about $100. I'll put a link in there if you guys want to buy that whole assembly. You can get the solenoid aftermarket from Dorman. I'll also try and find that and put a link in there. A little more complicated to replace that because you have to take the shifter assembly apart. The third most common way, there's a spring up in here that the plastic breaks off this tab in here, and that would be the third most common, actually probably the most common failure on these shifters in these Chrysler 300s. Now, if you're stuck in gear, you can pop this little tray out right here, and then you can press this in with your finger, this pink piece right here, and that will bypass the solenoid in the back. However, it will not bypass if you have the broken spring up here. So if that's your problem, this may or may not, come out of gear if you push that pink piece in. So that's a good quick check. Anyway, so to get started, pop this piece out right here, and then remove the two Phillips head screws that are going to be right there and there. Number 2 Phillips. Then pop this piece out right here. Comes out very easily. There's going to be 4 clips holding this plastic tray on. So come around with a small pocket screwdriver and carefully pry up on each corner like so. And then pop this whole piece out right here. And if you look right down in here, you see this plastic piece right here? This is the most common failure. And where this little spring hooks on right here, this tab actually breaks off. So you have 2 options. Get this new plastic piece from the dealer. We can see this one's actually already been replaced because it's a white one, and I can tell somebody else has been in here as well because they have a screw holding this shifter cable in. Once you pry up on this little piece here, you can pop the whole thing up, reach your finger back here, and pull up, and that cable just slides right out. So we got that cable off. On the back, I'm going to be taking this Phillips off, but if you don't already have a broken piece, you're going to take a small screwdriver or pick, push in here, and similar to the one that we just took off right here, you're going to bend that little tab out of the way. Clearly somebody already broke that though. Then go ahead and remove your 4 10mm nuts holding this thing down there in the back as well. And also take a screwdriver and very carefully pry out on this to pop that piece off right there. You can see I already took the screw off back here. And if you happen to break the little tab, you can see somebody snapped the tab off on this. Putting a screw in like that previous person did, a little screw like that, seems to be an appropriate fix. And before taking this off, you also got to get a screwdriver down here, flat blade, and pop that Christmas tree connector out of there. Mine was actually already hanging off because somebody's had this off before. All right, once you get all those screws out of here, I'd be lying if this thing just pops up with ease. It's definitely a tight fit. But pop that up and then get your 2 connectors off down here. You got one right here and one right there. To get those off, you just press this little tab in with a screwdriver. Now, the bottom one here, that's going to be for the light up here, and this one right here is going to be for your shift solenoid. So what I'm going to do is put a multimeter between this and check for if I'm getting 12 volts when I press in my brake pedal with the key on. And so we can see with our multimeter hooked up, press the brake in with the key on, and we have 12 volts coming to those wires. All right, so since the solenoid's bad on this thing, this solenoid back here, you can get this aftermarket, but today we were not able to find one. So for $100 some, you can get a whole brand new shifter assembly. Mopar, I'll put a link in there if you guys want to buy that on Amazon. I think it's just over $100. All right, guys, and to transfer these 2 pieces over, you're gonna thread this knob off. Simple enough. Then take a pocket screwdriver, and on the driver's side, stick it right in here, prying over a little bit, and that'll loosen that whole thing off the other side. And come down low here, get these wires off, and this piece right here is going to actually just slide forward and click out. So to get it back on, sorry, I'm trying to work through the camera here, guys. To get it back on a new one, Slide this over the top like that. On the passenger side, get the passenger side started in first like that. So it's leaning sideways like that. Line your other side up here and then just click it into place. Rerun your wire and hook this piece on the bottom. Then you're ready to install this whole assembly after you put your shift knob back on. And guys, going back together with this, very basic. The hardest part is really squeezing this thing in there, getting it in there without breaking anything, so be real careful about that. I've got mine in, and now I'm gonna hook all my cables up.